So Joshua, this amazing man of God, this great warrior, this great leader of a man who comes into leadership, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, after Moses has died, and he is battling not only the grief that comes along with losing somebody that's close to you, this man who's mentored him, who's been there for him, who's helped him through different situations, taught him how to be a man, taught him how to be a leader. They probably cried together. They've talked about things. When Joshua knew and Moses knew that Joshua was going to be the next leader, I'm assuming Moses would have taken him by the hand and been a little bit more intent on training him and teaching him how to be a leader. Not just how to be a leader, but how to be a leader of the Israelites. Again, the Israelites, they are God's people, but they're crazy people. They are no different than the church people today. We are God's people, but we are still yet crazy people. And so the reality of Joshua's life is that, yes, he was a great leader. Yes, he was a warrior. Yes, he went up and ran up into an angel of the Lord and was ready to fight and take on the angel of the Lord. But he also was still a human. He still was a man. He still had stuff he had to deal with. But this is a man who, again, is excited about where God is taking him. He's seen this promised land. Remember the 12 spies that Moses sent out and they came back with a report. Him and Caleb were the only two that said, yes, this land is filled with giants. This land is filled with people already. It's already occupied. But I believe, Moses, what you've said, because I believe what you said is what God has said. And so it was 12 spies who came back to Moses. 2 of them said, yes, let's do it. Let's take it on. Let's fulfill the vision. Let's fulfill the goal that God has given us. The other 10 didn't. And so Joshua is excited because now he gets to take the reins to lead the people into the place that he saw already. He literally gets to fulfill what he's already felt. He gets to walk into the place that he's walked away from. And so he's excited about this opportunity. He's ready to go. He's been talking to God. He's been praying. And God has already said that, listen, Joshua, in chapter 1, I'm going to give you every place that your foot touches. Every single place that you put your foot on, I'm going to give you that land. Now we've been misinterpreting that scripture for a long time because we have assumed that if I walk somewhere, then God is going to give it to me. So the other day I was hanging out at Dimmitt Automotive Group and they have these Rolls Royces. So I'm walking around them because God, obviously, wherever my foot treads, that's what you're going to give me. But I still came back home with my VW. God is not saying to Joshua nor to us that where you decide to walk, I'm going to give you that. The best interpretation of that scripture is what we find in song and in the word, where we say, God, order my steps in your word. That the steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord. Literally what God is telling Joshua is, I'm going to order the steps that you're supposed to take so that every step that you take will be yours. Because it's land that I've already earmarked for you. It's things that I've already blessed for you to have. I don't want you walking and running off somewhere thinking that that's the land that you're going to get just because it's what you want. You're not going to manipulate God into this figurative or this fake faith that some people will tell you to exercise, that, hey, if you want the building, if you want the business, if you want this, if you want that, just go and walk around it. That's not necessarily how it happens. Everything that Joshua did was based on what God said. So God had already laid out the land that he was going to give Joshua. God had already told him when it came to Jericho, listen, this is the city. This is what I want you to do. I want you to walk around it. I want you to walk around it one day for 6 days straight. And then on the 7th day, then you're going to walk around it 7 days. And then you're going to go in and you're going to capture the land. So he's excited about all these things that God is doing. He's ready to do it. And he understands, okay, God, you've already laid out the land. You've already done it. You've already taken care of it. All I got to do is listen to what you're saying, walk based on your word, and I'll have everywhere that my foot touches. So Joshua was excited, not only in chapter 1, but chapter 2, when he sends out his own spies. Again, he's modeled after Moses. And so he sends out spies to go check out Jericho. They get there, and then this prostitute, they end up at Rahab's house. I don't know how they end up at Rahab's house, but the first stop is Rahab's house. I don't know how that correlates. These men of God, they end up at this prostitute's house, but that's where they end up. That's where they go, and this prostitute hides them, and she knows about God. She knows about how good God is and all the things that He's done, and so God literally saves her because she hid the spies. And so this is again the greatness about God, how he will literally allow your enemies to take care of you. That's why God says, the battle is not yours, it belongs to him. Don't fight battles that seem to be against you. That takes a lot. That takes a lot of restraint. That takes a lot of holding your tongue. That takes a lot of holding your fingers and not texting about them and not tweeting about them and not putting on Facebook about them. That takes a lot from us as human beings to restrain ourselves enough to be people of God who can literally go into a place where our enemies are and not kill them. Because if the spies had gone in and killed the people, killed Rahab and her family, they wouldn't have been hidden. They would have been captured, and the story would have been totally different.
If he did it before, he could do it again. If he